You folks know that I'm a very strong supporter for the CPF system, right? But now I need to give you a warning. Stop topping up your CPF into the voluntary contribution to your 3 accounts. Sounds very serious, right? But in this video, I'll go through the reasons why you should not do that and what are the alternatives that you can consider. I think before we explore the question of why you should not do voluntary contributions to your 3 account, short form VC3A yet, we should really explore why should you do a CPF top up. Okay, and for me, it's very simple. For a CPF top-up, there must be some benefit. And the main benefit of CPF top-up is that it gives you tax relief. Now, I'm talking about the perspective of an employee, because right now, I'm still a full-time employee. So, as a full-time employee, if you actually voluntarily contribute to your 3 accounts, you will realize that that is actually not eligible for tax relief at all. Now, even if I'm a really strong supporter of the CPF system, I myself will not do any kind of CPF top-ups if there are no tax reliefs to be talked about, because there's no benefit of doing so. You're really locking up your money, and if they don't even give you a tax relief benefit, there is no incentive, there is no push factor to do so. And if you've watched my earlier CPF videos on hitting a full retirement sum, I talk about how I hit a full retirement sum is really the motivation of reducing my taxes, and through getting tax relief from doing the retirement sum top up and the VCMA, those are eligible for tax relief. That's why I really don't want to recommend VC3A at all. And I know CPF is really a dry and boring topic, right? So let's spice up the message from our sponsor to see how it can give you free rewards. I want to ask you one simple question. Do you believe in Tesla? Because you have missed the free Apple share, free Microsoft share, and even free Google share in the previous Weibo campaigns. But do you know that Weibo has upped their game again? And this time round, they are giving you $130 worth of Tesla shares. You heard that right? It's $130 worth of TSLA shares. That is the record high. What you need to do is to deposit at least 2,000 Singapore dollars and make one buy order of US stock or ETF. Also, this time round, you have to complete an options trade, so you can buy a put or a call option for the short term, and at the same time maintaining your balance of 2,000 SGD by not making any withdrawal orders for 30 days. And you must be wondering why $130, right? Maybe it's related to the Tesla stock split recently from 1 stock into 3 stocks. So hurry up and sign up for a Weibo account using my referral link down below. The next thing I want to talk about is the focus, because when you do VC3A, right, you are actually spreading your funds across the 3 different accounts: the OA, ordinary account, the SA, special account, and the MA, the MediSave account. And you are doing this kind of spread distribution. It's not very focused, because compared to RSTU, retirement sum top up, to your special account, it's very focused, right? You just want to pump in money into the special account. And then if you want to talk about VCMA, voluntary contributions to your MediSave account, that is very focused fire into your MediSave account. So when you are doing this kind of voluntary contributions to MediSave account and RSTU, you know what you want in life, but you realize that in VC3A, with such a distribution, you really don't know what you want, right? Then some of you may comment, because I want to build up my ordinary account, I want to use my ordinary account to pay for my property. But for what? Why are you even taking the chance to build your ordinary account? Because you know that there are a lot of people who don't even use their CPF OA to pay for property, because the cash is much more liquid and OA has very low interest rates. So by what purpose and by what motivation are you trying to build up your ordinary account for? Because there is no purpose. It has low interest. It can be easily replaced by cash payments in your mortgage and your investments. Then I don't know what you're building up your OA for. Can you comment down below? So in comparison, if we look at retirement sum top up to your SA and VCMA voluntary contributions to your MediSave, they are more focused fire. You have a direction, you have a driven motivation to get your MediSave account to the BHS first, then followed by the RSTU to your special account, which you can hit the FRS, because then you can deploy your supercharged SA strategy, special account supercharge, and then subsequently, once your BHS has met and your FRS has met, you can then deploy the supercharged OA strategy. All this I talked about it in the previous video if you are still confused on what I'm talking about. So you know that VC3A has no tax relief by now, but do you know that you're also using up your unutilized cap of the SA and the MA, because all these are opportunity costs. If you had not done a VC3A to your accounts, you realize that you can do more VCMA because you have more gap to fill in the BHS. You also have more gap to fill in your FRS special account. But once you have done VC3A, you're closing up all these tax relief opportunities that you could have done, and that is an opportunity cost by itself. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to bring about, right? It's not like VC3A is really bad. It's just that because there's no incentive no tax relief for you to do VC3A, and at the same time there is opportunity cost for you to do VC3A because you are eating up into your tax relief limits of the VCMA as well as the RSTU SA tax relief. So as a full-time employee, it's not really recommended for you to do VC3A. But what are the situations where VC3A really makes sense? I'll also help you explore for this kind of special group of people. Number one clear reason is you are self-employed. Because as a self-employed, you don't have a company contributing to CPF for you. You are your own employer and you are your own employee. And you know what that means is that whatever you contribute to CPF has a tax relief because you are now responsible for your own income and you're responsible for your own CPF. And the government has made it very clear for self-employed people that they can contribute up to 37% of their net trade income, and all that 37% of their NTI net trade income will be eligible for tax relief. But of course, there's a limit as well. Don't think that you can just contribute 37% of your $1 million net trade income. Doesn't work because your normal limit of $102,000 of net trade income will still apply. So the max that you can voluntarily contribute as a self-employed person is 37% multiplied by $102,000. That will give you the magic number of $37,740. So you are kind of similar to a full-time employee in terms of your CPF annual voluntary contribution limit. But you should know that a lot of self-employed people don't actually do that. They only do the mandatory contribution of 8% to their MediSave account because self-employed people, they can control the cash. They don't need to contribute to CPF. They may want to have more cash on hand because they may be worried that their cash flow next month may be really tight and they need a higher cash buffer, and that's alright, right? But if you really have the capacity and the motivation to build up your CPF, I felt that being a self-employed person is the best way for you to contribute to your CPF because 37% is a lot out of your net trade income. And VC3A by itself for self-employed person is a very powerful tool to help you reduce taxes and at the same time build your CPF. The second reason you should do voluntary contribution to 3 accounts is when you are above 50 and you are very close to the age of 55 because you know that's the magic age for CPF. Above 55, if you have reached your full retirement sum in your special account and your OA combined, you do know that you can withdraw any amounts above the FRS, right? So that means that once you are above 50 and you know that 55 is very close to you, just a few years time, you can just do voluntary contributions because you know that once you have hit your FRS, you can withdraw anything excess out and you can just treat this like a short-term savings account for a few years. Because how much interest are your bank accounts paying you? 2% at max, maybe 3%, but your special account is paying 4% interest and your ordinary account is paying 2.5% interest. Don't talk about the MediSave because MediSave cannot be withdrawn. MediSave will forever stay there for your medical purpose. But if we are talking about just OA and SA, 2.5% and 4% is very attractive, right? In fact, because it's considered liquid already when you are above the age of 50 and you're so close to 55, and the condition is that you need to have met your full retirement sum. Because if you haven't met your full retirement sum, the max you can withdraw is only $5,000, okay, once you have reached age 55. So the condition for you to think about this is that you have reached the full retirement sum, at least in your special account and OA combined together. Then at least you can think about voluntary contributions to your 3 account. Because otherwise, if you have not reached the FRS yet, you might as well do RSTU, right, retirement sum top up. So there are actually a lot of very wise senior people, you know, when they are 54, approaching 55, they just take their available cash, whatever cash they have in their bank, just take out and pump everything into the CPF, voluntary contributions to the 3 account. They don't care if it's distributed to the 3 accounts of CPF, right? Because they know that once they have hit their 55th birthday, they can withdraw the amounts, okay? Whether it's 2.5% in OA, 4% in SA, they can withdraw it all. And that is because they have reached the full retirement sum. So that's a very important benchmark that you have. So if you haven't reached the full retirement sum, don't even think about VC3A at all. Okay, then what is the last group of people who should really do voluntary contributions to the 3 accounts? That will be people who really love seeing numbers in their CPF. People who are more xiao and crazy than me about the CPF. If you really like to see very big numbers in your CPF account balances and you feel really rich looking at your CPF statement, then I think the VC3A is for you because that's the only way you can pump in more money into the CPF. You really trust the CPF board and you really do love the CPF despite it not giving you any kind of tax relief when you do voluntary contributions to your 3 account. Then I think it's good for you. You can pump in more money, you can let the interest compound over time. But if you're not near the age of 55, then you have to be quite sure that you don't need this amount of money for your short-term needs. For example, you need money to buy property, you need money to do renovation for wedding, or you need money to start a business or side hustle. Then you really cannot see this money because CPF money, in fact, is very illiquid. there are a lot of conditions you have to meet, like a full retirement sum at age 55 before you can start off drawing out. So that is really like a one-way street. And for people who are really love CPF, then I don't think you have an issue lah. You just keep pumping, okay? The government will love you really deep. So as you're watching this, you're questioning yourself, so cannot do voluntary contributions to 3 accounts, then what should I do? If I want to put in more money for CPF for tax relief, then you should watch my other video here, because I talk about CPF tax relief and whether you should contribute to your voluntary contributions to your Medisave, or you should do your retirement sum top up to a special account first, and I'll weigh those two together so that you can make a better informed decision of which one you should start with first.